Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today I want to tell you why I don't like Age of Empires and why that is okay. Let me give you a little bit of background on this, because recently I bought Age of Empires Definitive Edition because I was thinking, you know what, it's been years since I have played the originals, and I like RTS games quite a lot, if you didn't know that. And I always found Age of Empires to be a bit slow, and it was kind of why I never really liked it. It was just a bit slow, takes forever to destroy buildings. It just wasn't, it was too many resources, kind of like, I was used to playing Command & Conquer and StarCraft and other games that kind of didn't rely on like 4 to 5 resources. Anyway, I recently bought Age of Empires Definitive Edition to see if I would maybe change my mind on it. And after playing a couple of hours of it, probably like 5 hours, something like that, I've come to the conclusion that it's just not for me and I don't like it. And I think that's partly to do with the fact that the game's mechanics, some of the AI and mechanics and stuff in the game are just a bit old, and I think that's partly why. But the same issues I had back then when I played it still apply now. Now I'm sure the second game, which seems to be the most popular one in the franchise, is better, and we'll get to that at some point. And I know the third one is quite different, and I'm sure I'd enjoy the third one a lot more. But yeah, the first one, the biggest problems I've had with it are that how long it takes to get going. It takes so long to like get to a point where you've actually got a significant amount of resources to build things. So that's, you know, yes, you can turn the game speed up. I'm aware of this. But like if you're like me and you're just trying to get into the swing of things, you're playing on normal, it does take, standard speed. It does take a little while, and that's not the end of the world. Sometimes it's quite nice having a slower beginning. My other bigger problems are that, you know, there are a lot of resources, so you are spending a lot of time building workers. And then when you finally come to combat kind of falls down quite hard. Because if you have, especially against the AI, now I've only played it on standard AI, I've not reduced it to easy, I've not made it harder. And the thing with the AI is that if you have a bunch of, let's say, swordsmen, and they have a bunch of ranged units, they very rarely are going to stand there and, you know, get attacked by said melee units. Which means your units will spend a lot of time running around after them if you don't micromanage them. Which is fine, like, you know, to a degree, I'm like, that's fine. But it becomes a problem when there's a lot of ranged units, and it's very hard to get into a fight without, like, you know, having hotkeyed stuff up and building things behind the scenes while you're trying to micromanage the fight. On top of that, it seems that, what I've encountered so far, that people on horseback seem to be the way forward. It doesn't seem like anything else is very good against it. The enemy, one match, the enemy built a couple of stables outside near my base. I had a couple of towers. Towers don't do shit against horses and things like that. So they were slowly plinking away at them, and then every unit I sent over, they were just getting more and more horsemen, and they were just killing everything. And I was like, this isn't fun. Like, you literally, it seems like the way to win here is to literally build stables and do that. So it's like, okay. In a game where, like, I know the idea is designed to have different units that are good against different things, it definitely seems that you're just best off going horses, and that kind of sucks because I don't always want to do that. I quite like mixing up my units. So the AI is just kind of cheap, and they also it just takes forever to kill them. I did a level where I had islands, and I built a shit ton of galleys or whatever they were, like big warships, like advanced to the 4th age, got them, and tried to just kind of blockade them out. And they went alright for a while, but it just takes so long to destroy anything. And that's probably the biggest problem I have of all, is just how long it takes to destroy buildings. Like, if you're fighting a building with a big army and there's a guy building it, he will finish it before you destroy it. It's ridiculously crazy how long it takes. You need siege weapons generally to destroy buildings, which is alright, but then, yeah, it just is one of those things, having that army, which is like mostly bowmen and swordmen and stuff like that for me, and a few boats, to suddenly, you know, not be able to do any damage in this building. It just, it's just everything's so slow. I don't mind having a slower RTS. I don't need every game to be StarCraft 2. In fact, I wouldn't want every RTS game to be StarCraft 2. But it is frustrating playing Age of Empires, and like, going back to it, there are things I enjoy. I like some of the ideas in this game, and that's why I want to pick up the second one at some point and give that a go, because they probably expanded and made things a lot better. Like, the soundtrack for this game, the remastered soundtrack, is amazing. I didn't realise how good the soundtrack for Age of Empires was. I was like, oh, this is awesome. And it looks nice, you know, but it seems like the core problem with the game is a lot to do with the AI and the balancing of units. At least that's what my impression is from when I've been playing it. And yeah, it just kind of sucks. And I'm not suddenly going to stop playing it. Like, I still want to play a few more rounds of it. Obviously, the footage in this video will be me of me playing it. But it's just kind of like, yeah, this is not for me. This, you know, like, I'm sure maybe I might have a better time with the second one. I'm sure I have a better time with the third one. I recently played Empire Earth as well, and that is a game that's basically Age of Empires, but there's just a lot of stuff in there. It came later. They did a lot of things right, and that has a lot of the same issues. I just enjoy that game, whereas this I don't. It's just very stiff, is a good way to describe it. The AI is very much just scripted to do certain things and play a certain way. Like I was saying, if you build towers, that's all good and well, but towers take forever to kill workers, and if a worker starts building something and you're killing the worker off, and then another one comes over, you're never going to kill enough workers for them to then finish off the building. So it's like, yeah, it's crazy. But you know, I don't know. It's just, it sucks because I feel like now I'm at a point where I can go back and play a lot of older games and appreciate them. Whereas this one, I'm like, no, I don't like this. You know, this isn't. I'm not having fun with it. Like, I'm having fun if I'm left alone to just like tech up and stuff. But when it comes to combat just sucks. Like, I'm obviously still learning bits of the game, and I know that there are some differences between certain factions. But yeah, like, it just isn't. It's not drawing me in as I'd hoped it, and I can see all the flaws now with it, and that's why I will, like I said, look at the later games in the series. But it's kind of a shame, because I kind of was hoping that I'd go back and suddenly be like, oh, this is not as bad as I remember. Whereas what's kind of happened is I don't really want to play this anymore, because part of the game's fun and the rest of it just sucks. Like, when your combat sucks and is like slow and methodical like that, and it takes forever to just go and destroy, you know, buildings and things, which is my biggest problem with it, then I lose interest in it very fast. And that kind of sucks when you have like other mechanics and other ideas in a game that actually seem to work. But yeah, it is what it is. It's clearly not a game that's designed for me. And yeah, you know, I kind of wanted to do this. It's been a little while since I kind of like talked about a game that I don't like straight up, like, just don't like. The last time I kind of did this was with Mario 64, like this kind of format of like not liking it, but that being okay. And I know a lot of people do like this series, and a lot of people have nostalgia for it, but I feel like that might be for the Age of Empires 2 and not the first one. So, and obviously it always feels a bit shit to rag on a game that's that old, but you know, this is the thing with definitive editions and like kind of remasters and stuff. If you don't fix or add in quality of life stuff, it can still ruin the experience. Now, I don't know what you could do in the original game, because I never played it that much to know. Like, I'm pretty sure you had control groups and rally points and stuff in the original game, so I can't do anything about that. But like, you know, they went back and updid the graphics, they had 4K support, the soundtrack's really nice, and it says there's other gameplay improvements and things. I honestly don't know. I'm assuming they did quite a lot to it. I need to go and look, really. So I don't really want to harp on them for not doing a better job. I mean, if anything, probably just AI tweaks and stuff would have been good, but then you know, it's difficult when a game you're using the original source code most likely to make a game. So, but there you go. That's my thoughts on Age of Empires Definitive Edition. You can play you got classic mode in there that shows you the old graphics and plays like the old game without the improvements. So you can play it in more of a classic style if you wish, but I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. It's not a game that I will be playing much more of. I'll do some footage for this video and maybe play a couple more skirmishes. Oh, worth noting that the campaigns suck in this game. They're just awful. Don't bother with the campaigns. Either play just random skirmishes or just playing with friends. The campaigns are just literally skirmish maps. That's what it feels like, basically, with objectives. So, and they're far too difficult. So yeah, there you go. There's my thoughts on Age of Empires Definitive Edition, a game that I have not played in many years, or at least the original. And it turns out I still don't like it, so there we go. So thank you very much for watching this video. As always, if you liked the video, hit like. If you want to see more videos like this, then hit subscribe. Links for Facebook and Twitter will be down in the description below. And until next video, I will see you then.